Good evening. Good evening.
Hey, everybody. Hello, hello, hello to all our friends.
All our family.
Welcome back to Conversations with the Love Byrds. I'm Darlene Byrd.
I'm William Byrd, and
we're the Love Byrds, and we love people, and we love love. So I want to thank you guys for joining in with us tonight.
Yes.
And just for all of your support during our journey.
It's been fantastic.
Yeah,
journey.
you guys
Absolutely.
are awesome.
We've enjoyed this, really.
Yeah.
Yep, sure enough.
Yeah. Last week's conversation.
We're going to go right in.
Last week, we had a conversation about sex. And boy, did we talk about it.
See, she gave me the next two shows. So this show is mine. The choice of the topics were for me.
Yeah.
And when she said that song by Monica, the good sex and commitment.
Yeah, that must be some of your non-negotiables.
So
we were talking about non-negotiables.
The non-negotiables. That's
exactly
how I came up with the topics for our shows. So for our next two shows.
Yeah.
I thought I'd dive right in on that sex part.
You sure did dive right in. It was fun. Was it fun?
It was fun. It was really fun.
If you saw it, if you saw the conversation about sex, just give us a note. Let us know. I saw it in the comments.
Yes.
I was there. It was a very good, very thorough and well-rounded conversation about sex. And it also was a lot of fun until somebody
came from the
started cutting up. And to see. And I'm not going to say no names, but the initials are WB.
Yeah.
How about that?
Warner Brothers.
Somebody started cutting up at the end of our conversation, coming from the book
of Relations.
The book of Relations.
Yes, the book of Relations.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna come back from that book no more.
Talking about God said, "Be fruitful and multiply." Hey, Chuck. Yeah. And he said talking about the fruit. When he said being fruitful, he talking about the fruit of the loins. Is what he said.
Exactly.
And you said we're supposed to be doers
of the word. And that word was sex.
But you said doers meant do it.
Yes.
Do it to
be satisfied.
You see, you know what?
There
I can't with him. But anyway, we did share some helpful things as well.
Yes.
We shared. Actually, we shared seven T's when we.
Anybody know what the 7 T's were?
We had 7 T's when we were having a conversation about sex. 7 T's.
I'll give you one.
Okay.
I'll give you 2 talking treats. How about that?
Okay, I saw it. Yeah, conversation about sex. Yes. Frenchie said she saw it. It was 7 T's. Let's see if we can remember.
Anybody remember
some of the T's from last week?
Yes.
Yeah, let's see if we can remember some of the T's from last week. Okay. We talked about 7 T's when we were having those conversations about sex, and we were encouraging everybody to, have those conversations, have those with your mate. So the T's were tenderness. We talked about tenderness and how important it is. We talked about talk. Mm-hmm. We talked about touch.
Very much so.
We talked about touch and how touch is a really good primer, like all day long for sex. Time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Treats was at the end, but we did get to a little bit of the treats part. You like the treats part.
Yeah, we didn't cover too much
with the treats. But we talked about being tuned in.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about techniques
Yes.
and discussing those with your mate.
Yes.
And just continuing to have that dialogue and making it better, make little changes and try new things. And it was fun. I had a lot of fun. I was a little nervous. I was a little nervous about that conversation.
You did well, baby.
I was a little nervous about that conversation. Hey, but you know what? It is what it is. Love Byrds, we're an open book. And if there's anything we can do or say that may help somebody, that's it. Hey, Amy, expectation for this week's topic is hype. Loving, I
got hyped about this part of the journey myself, Amy. This was where it all really started. Yes.
Yeah. So our topic this week is loving people through their change.
Yes.
Loving people through their change.
Absolutely.
It's a controversial type of topic.
Yes.
About people needing to change, but yet still some of the relationships trying to walk them through that journey and loving them through their journey. So it should be good. Hopefully you guys will join in on this conversation and we could talk about loving people through their change. Hey, Izzy.
Hey, everybody. Hi, family. How y'all doing? Very good, Amy.
Tenderness, talk, touch
time, tuned in, techniques and treats.
Very good. Amy gets a gold star.
Yes. 1,000 credits, Amy.
Very good. Yes. Very good. Frenchie said, I need that list. Thanks, sis. All right. So for this week, guys, hey, Irene is looking.
Yes. How you doing?
So loving people through their change is our topic this week. Loving people through their change. And that topic implies that the change is needed. How about that?
Well, we don't even get to the Love Byrds story unless some serious change happens.
Very true.
Very, very true. We don't.
Very true.
You know, my part of the story of my journey.
Let's ask them first.
Oh, ask them. Can people change?
Yeah, let's ask them that. How about
that?
Can people change? I want to hear what some people think about that. Like, can people change?
Yes.
Can people change? So we talk about
then I mean, baby, it becomes self-evident when they sit here and look at me across the airwaves. Can people change? Because a lot of people know me and they know me from my background and they know the kind of person I was.
Oh, Jesus. Thank God for Jesus.
Thank God for it.
Thank God.
Yes.
There's a God for real.
Yes.
All right.
A lot of people, yes, of course.
Miss Irene said yes. And Kendra said, for the right one, yes. I love that answer. Love that answer.
Yes, because change is self-development. When we talk about it in this context.
Amy said, in Christ, all things are possible.
Yeah, yes, Amy. I did not need a lot of Jesus in this. A lot of God in it.
People change. Frenchie says, I think people transition but not change. Okay.
Well,
like an evolution type of thing.
Because I always talk about my transition, but in a sense, that was me deciding to make a change. So the transition was just going from that to the next part.
Transition from one thing to another.
So, but the change was what actually happened.
Yeah.
You know,
people can change if they're willing to acknowledge what needs to change.
Exactly.
Very good.
Exactly.
Very good. I have another question.
Yes.
I have a question for the ladies.
Yeah.
Can you change him, ladies? Can you change him, ladies? I want to know what the ladies think.
I want to know what you say on that one too. I would really want to know. Yeah. Evolution, yes. Okay, yes. Evolution. Absolutely. Yeah, can you change him?
Heck nah.
Heck nah. Nah, you don't think you ladies? Absolutely not. Okay. There's some
women think no, you cannot.
See, I beg to differ. It's all because of Darlene. Well, not all because of Darlene, but a lot of it. I mean, okay.
Let me ask you.
I know what you're gonna say.
No, you don't. How you know what I'm gonna say? I already said no, ma'am.
Okay.
Listen, ladies, you cannot make a man. You sure can, especially from a boy. Oh, yikes.
Well, then how do mothers single mothers make good men make their sons out of good men? Because I'm on the other side of this boat. I do think a woman can change a man.
Listen. I say a woman can't change a man. That's my answer.
Okay.
My answer is that man will change when he decides to change.
When it's required.
He will change when he wants to change, when it's required. And when he respects the woman enough to change. And when it hurts too much or costs too much not to change. You know what I mean? Like it's causing pain or it's causing something. It costs me too much to stay where I am. I'm really gonna have to change. But I don't think a woman can change a man. I think that man changes when he decides to change. When he's determined to change, he finds it worth it. He makes a decision to change. He decides to change. And he respects the person enough to change, because sometimes it's a respect factor. If a guy doesn't respect you, he's going to talk to you, any kind of way. But if he respects you, if he respects someone enough to change, absolutely. And I remember some of one of your friends was one of my friends. I don't know who it was, but they said, "Thank you, Billy, for being the man that Darlene needed you to be."
Okay, I get that.
So I hear what you're saying about the woman can influence that change, but you have to decide. The man has to decide.
Inherently,
it's
already inside of us.
Okay,
the decisions that you make, the choices that you make are already inside of you before they even come out. You're going to make that change. It doesn't take anything outside of you, really. Those things are and just like I'm going to go to the Bible. Then change isn't in them. They're already content or satisfied in where they are and what they're doing or what is happening to them. So there's no need to change if you're satisfied and content in your being.
Frenchie said giving a consequence versus an ultimatum. So listen, I don't, but I tell you what.
That's the way the difference is, the disadvantages and the advantages of change, or the pros and cons to your decisions.
But for the woman and the man, giving him a consequence versus ultimatum. So here's the thing for us. And because when I met my husband, he was very different. He gonna tell you. But absolutely, I don't like the whole ultimatum thing. But I tell you what, I can tell you what I am gonna put up with and what I'm not, and what I'm gonna allow in my circle and what I'm not, and I have to be strong enough to stick to that and stick to my guns and walk away if it's not good for me, or if it's not healthy for me. So it's not so much an ultimatum for them; it's what am I going to allow in my life, and that's it's a personal type of ultimatum, like darling. You're not gonna
that's a personal ultimatum, or that's just your personal morals and your guidelines and your standards that you're not going to compromise just because of a relationship or wanting to be with somebody. I understand that. Yeah, that's true. So
Irene said, mother instill values, morals, and integrity. Push their sons forward, but mothers cannot make the men. I think they need role models and mentors. I think they have to see something different. I think it helps. I'm not going to say it's not possible, but I definitely think it helps when you have a role model.
Him into made him a man. What she instilled in him. See, the morals and principles don't change if they're coming from a man or a woman. The morals and principles don't change. The guidelines, they don't change just because you're a man or a woman. They are already set in place. So it doesn't matter whether or not the man, the person is getting it from a man or woman. I take gender out of that part of the equation.
The morals, yes. But listen, if you've never seen a man talk tenderly to a woman, you've never seen him cater to her needs, hold her hand,
you
put her in and out of a car.
You could say that about if a woman never seen.
You can learn.
Like if a man has never seen his father respected by his mother.
Both, exactly.
It works both ways, of course. Exactly. I get that. But to say that you can't like instill that value in someone just because of gender kind of takes me takes me a little bit
Yeah,
out of
your
it.
morals and stuff.
Yeah,
do that
yeah.
too.
I mean, I think that's just hard line in us.
I think for women, we've seen so many men
Mhm.
like from who may come from that situation to where the mom provided and the mom
Mhm.
was the problem
Well, that's
solver
true.
and the mom handled all the responsibility and the
Mhm.
mom, so they were a son.
Mhm.
And then sometimes when they get with another woman, they still assume that role like a son. Like
Mhm.
mom's gonna take care. I had one. Mom's gonna take care of it. Somehow she gonna make a way. She always do.
Yeah.
I don't care that she's tired. She's just gonna keep doing
Mhm.
what mothers do.
Mhm.
So you can just still stay in that role and
Mhm.
not grow.
Right.
But yeah, but I think
Okay.
yeah, I think he
Okay.
will change when he decides
Mhm.
to change the decision, like you said.
Right.
He respects the person enough,
Mhm.
or it's too painful not to. Like, man, I would really lose something if I don't change, and
Mhm.
I don't want to lose. So I think
Mhm.
that part where it's
Yes.
heavy on. You know what I'm
I
saying?
no, I agree with that. No, I
Yeah.
agree. I agree totally,
Mhm.
holistically with that. Yes.
Yeah. But you were saying like change was part of your
Oh
our
yeah,
story?
because I mean, in the beginning,
Mhm.
and I'm going to say this and say this briefly because I've been asked this question several times, and they asked me whether or not if the Love Byrds story, or like the perfect match group that we have, is it for single people? And it kind of hit me like, well, actually, all of us started out single. We didn't come together. We're not together. We weren't together. It was we came together because of a vision that I brought to Darlene. Of course, after meeting her, she was single. So I say that to say this, that everything we did and implemented started from single. You know what I mean? Not only being single, but also having the dynamic of having been married, and knowing that experience,
Right.
and bringing that to the table also. So like I said, of course this is for single people. I would encourage more so that single people take on,
joining these
conversations,
Absolutely.
because some of this stuff is guideline stuff to get you to a Love Bird story.
Yeah, and in
You know
our
what I mean?
story, we individuals in our story.
Excuse
It's
me.
my side and his side, and then at the end of our story, there's questions. These are individual questions.
Yes.
These are
The
for
Love Bird story.
the Love Bird story.
Love-birds.com. Love-birds.com.
How the class clown and the class president
Get your
developed an
copy.
extraordinary love. I'm
Some
gonna
good
let
stuff in
you
there.
pick which one was the
Yes.
clown. How about that? But it's individual work. It's a workbook, because a lot,
Yes.
relationships are about development
Yes. Yes.
and coming together and
Mhm.
changing and evolving and
Exactly.
transitioning. Somebody said the word transitioning.
Mhm.
And all change starts with an
Yep.
ending of something. And then
Yep.
you go through a transition, and then you get to sort of a new beginning. And that's the
Exactly.
change. That's the
Exactly.
change part of it.
Exactly. I think I
Mhm.
wrote something down about that I wanted to share with somebody. Oh yeah. I'm gonna get to that part.
Okay.
Because I like that. Yeah, I like when you said that. That was
Yeah,
good.
end
That
of
was
something,
good.
a transition through
Yes.
something, arrive at your new
Exactly.
normal.
At the new normal.
And that's
Yes.
the change.
Yes.
And so the
change,
Love Bird
yes.
story, my husband brought something to my attention. He's like, our whole story is a book about change.
Absolutely.
Our whole entire story is a book about
Undoubtedly.
transformation,
Especially for me.
and loving someone into
Mhm.
their change. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I understand where you are, but staying right there is not an option, not for me. And not running,
Mhm.
and just really and being
Mhm.
there and loving someone through their change while
Mhm.
while you see some change and you see some
Mhm.
fruit of change. And you mentioned something, baby,
A lot of
about
change was for me was about personal development too.
yeah.
Kind of growing myself up and making myself a better man and a better person.
Yeah.
These create the best opportunities for you to have a better relationship when you work on yourself first. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That creates the best opportunity for you to carry, you know, uh, the best things into a relationship.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Mhm.
You like that?
No, I just thought, yeah, I did like it. But you know what I was thinking about when you
What's
said
that?
that?
What's that?
You said, darling, you got the best William. you got the best. So there was an evolution happening.
Absolutely.
For you to be able to say, you got the best, William.
Yes.
You got the fully realized version.
The fully realized version.
I made that up. That sounds good too. The fully realized version.
You did make that up just now, but I like that. I'm
that?
A fully realized version.
You the fully. I have received the fully realized version of what William Byrd can be.
And
still evolving.
That's just to answer the question of a mother. However, I agree. Men need both sides of mother father values. Oh, of course, absolutely. But getting it from both sides is the ideal situation you want to have. You know what I mean?
Because baby, you had a dad who knew how to pour love onto you.
I don't know. Hold tight. Wait a minute. Kendra Moore says, now that I'm in my late 40s, I don't have time to wait for change. Okay, Kendra. But listen to this, Kendra. But listen to this, though, Kendra. Life is this ongoing and constant opportunity to learn and grow. And change is constant. That's the only one constant thing about living this life. Everything has to change. So
I changed.
You changed too. At 50 something.
Yeah.
Did I just tell you? Oh,
it's all right. AARP trying to be sending me cards and all kind of crazy stuff. They crazy. They crazy.
But anyhow, Kendra, I would beg for you to rethink.
So let me tell you some of the ways that
you may have to wait for change.
I had to think about. Because he was, a lot of this is about William Byrd's change, and again, like you said, I don't have time, and that's why. He almost didn't have a chance. I kept saying, "Listen, not listen. You too different. I see you. This I don't gonna work." So me basically saying I don't really have time, and I don't want to change any. I felt like I did all my training. My kids are grown. Listen. When my dog passes, I'm not training another dog. I'm done. And so I felt like I didn't have time to change, but he asked for an opportunity and I gave him the opportunity. And all I could say is what I'm not going to allow in my life. I don't want this. I don't want a husband who smells like weed. I just don't. I don't want somebody who's, high or somebody who's not focused or I just don't. And that's not what I'm going to have. But he changed because he wanted to. He changed because it was worth it.
It was time.
So I couldn't put anything in him that wasn't there.
Because I'm responsible for me.
He's responsible for him. But I could create an environment that to allow it to flourish. I never said stop doing anything, change this. Because I already said, I don't want to be your mother. I don't want to be your Holy Spirit to have to check you when you need to be checked. I don't want to be your preacher that preached to you. I don't have time for any of that. Only thing I could be the girlfriend. That's it. But he changed because he wanted to. And I changed in some ways. Let me tell you some of the ways that I changed. Later in my latter years, I changed because I began to see myself as an important role. Before then, myself was not an important role. I was a mother. I was a daughter. I was a sister. I was a friend. I was a neighbor. I was a coworker. I was a boss. So, but as an individual, I changed. I changed because I began to let go of some control. That was a big change. Him saying, "Hey, get in the car. I'm taking you." I didn't know where I was going. That was a change, letting go of control in a lot of areas.
Darlene has some deficits. In that area, she didn't have a deficit.
Yeah.
She's very controlling.
Yeah, I like to know. I changed to learn how to laugh and how to, be spontaneous and how to just go with it and have fun. I took on a so what mindset, meaning I changed. I got really delivered from people. I was delivered from people and people's opinions and what they would say. I changed. I developed that so what mindset. I remember, and I'm not a person who curses a lot, but I remember I was like, you know what? F them all. I don't even care, because I knew I was going in the right direction and I was doing the right thing. And the chatter was something different. So normally that chatter would freeze me or paralyze me from moving forward or moving in different directions. I changed to get rid of that stuff. And, another big change was I changed and started keeping things inside of me. Let me speak to the ladies right for a minute. I changed and started keeping things inside of me that they did not have to come out of my mouth. And that was a big change. And I said this to somebody who just got married recently. If he'll get there without you saying it, then you don't need to say it. Whatever the it is. If you're driving and turn, do this, do that. If he will figure it out without you saying it, then it really didn't need to be said. And so that was her homework, to kind of practice that. But that's a change, to control and to say less. To say less. Good, I changed in this relationship.
A lot of women don't have that ability.
I say yes. I say
a lot
less.
of women don't have.
I say okay. I let him go away and think about it. He may come back. I say a whole lot less, and I think it makes our relationship healthy, because it gives space, even for mistakes, and turn around and say, I kind of saw that, but it wasn't, it's okay. And for me, that's a totally different person. Even in the beginning, it was like, I wanted to say, don't say that, don't post that, don't take that picture, don't do that, don't do the nope. I changed to just.
She used to say that her stock would go down.
I was like, listen, if you do that, my stock will go down. You can't do that. You can't say that. I can't be in that picture.
Nothing happened. See, and that was.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was so out of my comfort zone. Like, what are you doing? No. Let me see. I was like, but you know what? It is what it is. Yeah. You know what? It is what it is. And that's a big change. So I feel like first I was going to say no, but when I really thought about it this week, over the last couple of days, I think I changed in a lot of ways too.
Let me get you some of the comments, girl.
I think I changed in a lot of ways too.
But yes, I'm going to get back to loving me through my change, because this is my show. No, I'm sorry. But anyhow, like I said, it was just for me. It was just about finding that inner happiness. Digging deep in my spirituality. Love and happiness was key and crucial. And then that lifestyle, me wanting to have a different lifestyle, changing my lifestyle was critical. I didn't want to do the same things that I was doing. And there were some aha moments in that, a lot of people talk about those aha moments, and I talk about them all the time, because all of this journey, the first thing I went to was I went to God and asked him a lot of stuff. I went to God. I asked God help me not to mess this up. I asked God to give me the resources, give me the knowledge, because remember, I hadn't practiced any of this stuff that we're doing now.
Yeah.
And I had no clue about them, because I didn't do them, in my previous marriage. So, that divine intervention, that divine input was key for me, the way God revealed. And I don't want to get preachy on you guys, because I kind of just want to stay. We have to at sometimes. I don't want to frighten anybody away that we're going to get on here and try to give you scripture and all that stuff, which we could, but we want to make it more real and tangible. But there was a lot of divine entity in this. And I mentioned to you guys on a lot of occasions about stories that I actually tell in the book, in this story, where I talk to God about everything. God, please help me do this. Or God, I need your strength to do that. Or God, show me this or show me that. And at every turn, like I said, I always felt like I had a direct line to the Father. He would he would show me signs. And people say, the universe, you speak things into the universe, and as you speak them things return to you. So at every juncture, because I was speaking it out, it was returning to me in such a timely manner that it's no way possible that I could omit that from the story.
Right. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Boy, that was
it was the knowing inside that I need to change.
Yes.
And that's big in and of itself. And I'm listening. I want to know what to do to change because I want this.
Yes.
And so I'm listening. I'm wanting, I'm taking steps. Yeah, you're doing the work. You did the work.
And it's the divine connection has to have some human interaction. You have to have, you know what I mean?
Amy is funny.
What she said?
She said, "Oh, it's your show now that those lights are up. You better know it. Got my icicles up. I'm good."
Oh yeah. Boy, I was up there 3 stories up, boy. Pat, it was fun. I'm a daredevil.
Pat said that we both let God in and
I am and we changed. So the right one for me comes, you get the best version of me. Very good. That's key. That's where you want to be right there. You want to be ready for that time to come. Unlike myself, if you are already ready, get ready.
That make you. It's the past me traits in you that made him want to change. That's page 87 in the book.
Oh, that's that page 87.
Yeah. I need to be all of these things. Yeah. That I showed him after he already had changed. So so God is a big part of our story. You were willing to change. You know that you needed to work on yourself. So that was big. Needed to work on yourself.
I definitely had to work on myself. What's that? That was great. I mean, I realized that if I didn't change, I wasn't going to make it.
Pretty much.
That's pretty much the bottom line to my transformation. I had this vision of, growing up, I would say to myself, I can remember this. I mean, from when I was like in my 20s, I used to say, by the time I'm this certain age, I should be at this certain point. And when I got to that certain point and I wasn't there, it really hit me like you was way behind the 8 ball. And that catapult, that was like a catapult for me. That conscious awareness of what I hadn't done and what I needed to do became evident. And I took that ball and I ran with it. I always say I turn right and literally like not right and left and right, but right and
from right and
wrong.
And
good, right and wrong, and kept. Now don't get me wrong. There was still some stumbling and some falling, and of course we never attained that completely. We're going to always make mistakes. We're going to always come up against obstacles and deviations from the course. But to remain basically in that path, I take this from the note from what Naeem and them said earlier in their show. He was going south and I need you to turn around and go north with me, or north in that direction. Right. So I was actually instead of turning in a direction, I turned in the direction right.
Turn right.
Exactly.
Like it.
Yeah, that was key when I said that early in the show today.
But you were willing. I mean, I think some people aren't willing, to be honest. So, but you were willing to change, and you were willing to admit what you needed to change and be serious about making the change. And I'm so glad you did. Now, honestly, I didn't know he was going to change. I really didn't. I just was whoa, Nelly. You talk about that crazy dude that come in, it's time to throw up the shots and he all loud and oh no, see, that's not. I'm good. I'm good, y'all. I'm good.
But in that transition, I was ready for that stuff to kind of break off.
I say Amy just said
to the extreme that I was, indulging myself in that fleshy part of life. You know what I mean? It was time for me to change. With some goals and some dreams. I had aspirations. There was this pure love that I had in me that needed expressing. So, and it wouldn't, and I couldn't get to that until I began to work on myself. So, that part.
So I just through the process, again, I encourage statements, and he heard a lot of I. You say I a lot.
I thought the I thing was you ain't supposed to be. I heard more eyes.
It's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what what environment
Yeah.
that I like to operate in. And
That was good.
yeah.
I mean it was.
I never
Understood
said
that
you this and you that. And I just said, listen, I just prefer this and prefer that, and that's not how I want to live my life, and I don't be part of that. So those I statements kind of set my boundaries. I think somebody said the word boundaries. And I just said, when things were getting serious, and he was starting to bring up conversations like, wanting to be my husband. I'm like, yeah, I don't. Darlene's husband, this description is over here, and you're over here. Yeah.
Frenchie, that's
Frenchie said,
fall 7 times and get up 8. Question: how many times can you fall?
Let me tell you.
No, the question is, how many times are you willing to get up?
Yeah, how many times are you willing to get up?
Yeah.
And then the other person, if you're falling impacts the other person, you got a couple of dynamics in there that you need to try to figure out.
But
because
then that's
listen,
a self journey too. I mean, that's
but I don't listen. I don't believe a whole lot. Now I believe you loving people through their change, but that implies that they are changing, that they understand and they want to change. But some people who don't even acknowledge, they're not willing to change, and that's a decision that we have to make.
Yeah,
I never want anybody to be in any situation that's harmful for them, or just being inconsiderate and all that kind of stuff, or damaging.
That's a waste of time.
That's not healthy. But if someone really is trying, and you can see it, and they're taking steps, and they're being honest, and you're talking about it. Because I just, he would say, I would just say, hey, you haven't smoked a cigarette, or I haven't smelled, and just he was changing, and I would say, well, that's so nice, that's so nice, you did that, wow, you got control over that, like you're doing that. Acknowledge it, but it didn't come from me in a way as of preaching it. It was just, I just said what I'm comfortable with, what I'm not comfortable with, and love considers. You know what I mean? If people love you, they should consider things that make you uncomfortable.
Yes.
That should be big to them.
That was big for me too. And that's one of the reasons why I just did what I did in that, because if I'm making her feel uncomfortable, then I'm not following the charge that I believe God gave me with that. And that's to take care of Darlene. Not only in body, but in mind and in spirit. And so if that gives her some if she's concerned about that, and that's giving her some some
uneasy about things, or
then,
might not trust some things,
then I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
If I ever do something like that, then I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Right. I think that's should be like guideline for any relationship. If you're causing some distress for your partner in any way, shape, and form, you need to rethink what you're doing.
Yeah, love cares about that kind of stuff. And again, we have those sometimes you have to wait for a teachable moment. Every time is not a teachable moment. Sometimes you're right in the mix of it. You're going to have to let it die down. You may have to wait a day, 24 hours, 48 hours, and then find a way to do it in a teachable moment. And women, again, I learned to not say a lot of things.
Like saying the words "I love you" with unselfish actions.
People.
That's true too. Yeah.
Without unselfish actions. But love gives, and then love considers. You can't say you love someone, but then you just really just don't consider them, or you just use them for your benefit. Then you're using them for what you can get from them. Love considers
that 360
the other person.
change ain't a change at all. No,
love considers.
That's going around in circles.
Yeah.
One of the things that was really key in us transitioning from being single was I shared a vision with Darlene. I shared a vision of what I thought our relationship could look like, and our relationship to look like, and what I wanted people to perceive us as and see us as a husband and wife and as a couple. And when I revealed that to her, and revealing that to your partner and giving them that clarity, that gives you the great the greatest opportunity to achieve it and reach those goals.
Yeah.
So giving her the vision and those not only lining up with hers kind of propelled Darlene into walking with me through that change.
Yeah.
So and as long as I stay consistent in trying to achieve those goals, even if they were baby steps, any step towards that goal is an accomplishment. So I learned to realize that every step that I was making towards that goal and towards that accomplishment and toward our vision, which was my purpose driven, I was purpose driven by it. You just tickled me.
You look so handsome. You're so cute.
I knew you was thinking something. You let me lose my train of thought. Yes. But giving her that and that vision lining up with not only what I believe
is sexy.
What God
isn't vision sexy, ladies?
Gave me.
The man had a vision.
Gosh, I thought you was gonna behave this time.
All right, but listen though, but you did present to me,
yes,
a vision, and I wasn't ready because remember, guys, I'm like, this ain't going.
This is on the beach in Savannah. It's in the book, you know.
Yeah, this is not going
touched
anywhere.
The board the first time I touched the board.
So when he presented this grand vision of what our marriage could look like and what our relationship would look like, and serving each other. And he created this vision. And, y'all saw, if you read the book, you saw my response, like, wow, that was a nice speech you made. It was like an Easter speech. That was a nice speech. But I took it all in. And I could see it. It was a beautiful vision of what this marriage could look like. It was beautiful. I was shocked by it because I wasn't really ready for it, and it was big. But I believe that it was possible. I've always believed that it could be possible. Mm-hmm. And I remember in the early days, he kept saying, "Darlene, thank you for giving me a chance, because you didn't have to. So just thank you for giving me a chance." So it
Amy, you need to stop. So can you make that a teachable moment? So if your partner only understands you when you yell, cuss him out, how can you make that a teachable? Well, you can't make it. You can't make like conflict. There's no teaching conflict except win and loss.
You gotta, Irene.
Yeah.
So you can't listen. You have to change. You have to change. We're talking about change. Mm-hmm. If someone yells and screams and curses at me, I don't hear that. I don't. It's like, oh, I just hear yelling and screaming. I don't know what you're saying. It's not registering. But you have to change it up. Mm-hmm. And I understand that we are so passionate about things. Remember, we said everything on a 1 to 10 is not a 9 or 10 that gets us to that level of where we're screaming and yelling. So most things are not. But if it is to that level and you're passionate about it, it means a lot to you. They need to understand that it means a lot to you. So you have to find a way to change that. Mm-hmm. So if you're cussing and yelling, did it work? Probably not. So I would suggest you change it. Change it to what? To maybe writing a letter and leaving a letter. That's right. Yeah, maybe just being silent and not saying anything for a minute. Mm-hmm. They just finding a different type of way. Maybe instead of yelling, because yelling is one way, ask questions. And questions that pertain to like a flip it type of question. Like, how do you think that makes me feel? Mm-hmm. Those type of questions. How should I respond to what you just did or said? Mm-hmm. So flip it to a question to where you're trying to, because, yelling is one way. Mm-hmm. You don't know, you think you're making a point, but to check for understanding, it's got to come the other way. So tell me, how should I feel after what you just said or what you just did or what I just realized? So find a different way other than to getting up to, and some things you get heated, you know.
Mhm.
You just, that curse word is the perfect way to say what it is you're trying to say in that moment. I know about those, but you got to find a way to be understood, because the
Mhm.
end result, when I get like that, when my level goes up, I say I don't feel like I'm being heard. I don't feel like I'm being, tell me what I just said. Tell me my point. You can
Mhm.
argue your point. Let me hear you tell me my point.
Mhm.
Can you tell me my point? Because I want to feel
'Cause they
like you
probably
understood.
get
Oh, yeah.
And that's a good way. That's a great way to get your point across
That
too.
works on William
Yeah.
Byrd. Tell me what my point is. I'm hearing all your
On
points.
that, we're going to go to commercial. We're going to come back. We're going to give
Amy.
you guys the bird
I'm
seeds for the week.
I'm
Amy,
taking
we're going
Amy
to
out
stop
back.
playing with you.
I'm
Give it to us,
Amy out back.
Nine.
There's some book.
Once again, go to love-birds.com. Get you a copy of the book. You can get it on Kindle. It's a lot cheaper. Go to Kindle, download you a copy. We always like to come from the book because, like I said, a lot of this stuff makes it tangible. And I'm going to read for you from the hymn side of My Soul Has Found the One.
This is the section transitioning.
Transitioning to the husband. Yeah,
Transitioning
so
to the husband.
I'm going to read from the first chapter of that just to kind of, we like to bring in some books. So it reads as such. Transitioning to Darlene's husband is something that I had been dreaming about from the moment I laid eyes on her. What it would be like being her husband. Will I be able to make her happy? These were the thoughts I constantly kept in my mind. Naturally, I was excited when we were finally at a place where God was beginning to transition the relationship into a solid foundation. I checked myself to make sure I was ready for the challenge. This allowed me to continue to be proven in my commitment and promises that I made from the very beginning. I never made anything about me. Everything I did was all for Darlene. Yet, I still was not completely confident that she saw me as her husband, although we were both enjoying our moments together. She once said, "Billy, you're nice to have around. I like how I feel when I'm with you." That time, I could not stop smiling. Those words will remain with me forever. I did a lot of things to gain control of my actions. It was discipline for me. I started doing a lot of things that I had not done before. I made them habits. I wanted to change my old ways at this time. It was either go all the way or step out of the way. I could not afford to lose this great opportunity to have someone worthy of my love. I decided to step off that bus that was going nowhere fast and begin to align my life with being Darlene's husband.
Wow.
That's
You got
how I
Amy
came.
crying. You got,
Yes.
yeah. Jesus.
Yes.
That's good.
That was the
stuff.
transition. Yeah.
That's good
That
stuff.
transition period.
And a little bit from my part. Let me see. I can read a couple pieces from it. And this is from, again, transitioning to the husband. And this is on the her section. Observing this undeniable transformation. Billy was transforming right before my eyes. I never told him to stop doing anything. In fact, I said, if you want to keep doing the things that you do, go right ahead. At this point, I had trained everybody and I wasn't going to train anybody else. So we kind of talked about that part. Billy never felt like a project for me. I've always believed that you can't put something in the man that's not already in there. All you can do is create the environment to bring forth what may be lying dormant in that man. What I saw in our 1 hour time is that he could be faithful. He could be trusted. He was highly intelligent and even nerdy at times. We had great conversations. I was able to see it. He was a servant. He was not looking to be served or to be taken care of. His work ethic was bar none. I saw all the good things that perhaps other people never saw in him. being as perceptive as I am, it's not possible to win any favor with me by telling me one thing and then behaving in another way. I'll hear your words, but for me, your words must match your actions. Let's see. I must inspect the fruit. I had a chance to see a responsible man making the plans and then making the phone calls and then paying the way. I saw him keeping his word. I saw an ever positive, friendly, spontaneous, and productive man. I saw a listener who filed away what he heard and then acted on it. I saw an energetic, helpful, and thoughtful man who was also kind of cute. All these are all the things that I witnessed, and if these are the things that I love about Billy. Oops, did I say love? That was from that section of the book.
Mm-hmm.
So our bird seed for the week. Any questions before we wrap up today?
Get the book. You got to get the book. Absolutely, Frenchie. It's very good. Like I said, it's like a workshop in itself too, because there's some, some of those deep diving questions that you can ask yourself that could possibly propel you into setting some goals and achieving those goals as far as your relationship and just personal and self-development. Mm-hmm. That part of it is really key to the Love Byrds story. And it falls along the lines with our mission. And, the objective has always been as Love Byrds now that
our mission, our marriage mission
has always been to ignite, encourage, and inspire people to good relationships, whether they be intimate relationships or just relationships with people in general. Mm-hmm. When you bring this to the world, the good part of life and living a real healthy and life worth living, the only thing you can do really with it after you've achieved it is bring it to the world so that it can be seen and be emulated to, for other people to pass it on so that we all get to this. That's the idea. We all need to achieve this type of happiness.
Let's get it. Level up.
Yep.
Can I change our bird seed a little bit?
Absolutely. You can change.
I think the thought for this week to chew on for the bird seed is, like I said, I've heard people say it's just me, it's just the way I am. It just runs in our family. We're hot-headed or, we're drinker, And my question for this week to ponder for the bird seed is, why just be the way you are when you can be better?
Yes.
When you can be better.
Yes.
So there's good change. There could be some bad change. People can kind of digress with change, but there could be some good change. Why be just the way you are when you can be better? When you can change for the good or for the greater good. Don't get stuck,
That's good, baby. You changed that bird seed up real nice.
You like that?
I do like that. Give me a kiss. That's a good one. How did you threw me off with that one? Good job. Yeah. Good job. Hey, thank you, Chuck. If you watch this replay, we can get out of Love Byrds, please. These teasers be killing. This is a whole hour, Amy.
We always go an hour.
We give you guys an hour. We try. She said
it just goes by. It goes by so
fast.
Quickly.
And it's and Amy, you said it. You hit it dead on the nose. It kind of hits different when you hear it from the writers, and then their perspective is the same. And the journey is kind of the same, and we kind of emulate that journey, and it's easy to tell it because we actually lived it. We lived, we implemented, we lived through it. So it's really easy to go over it. I read the book like 500 times. Well, we had to write the book, so I've read the book 1,000 times. But it's just easy to, bring it out because it's an actual experience. It's really tangible. And that's what makes the Love Byrds story and what we try to bring so really vibrant and alive. That's the part of it that, we need to express.
And that's what I think, we just everybody was like, y'all need to write this story. So we wrote the book. We didn't know. We were being obedient to what we thought God said, write the book.
It wasn't even like writing the book. All we did was tell our story. Tell a story.
But then we just realized, God could probably use this to benefit some people. So We just kind of wrote it and said, here you go.
And then the mission was evident too, because people were
Oh.
actually telling us before we even got to that part, like, I love what you guys were doing. I love seeing what you guys are, I love seeing just you guys interact together. So it became such almost second nature.
Can
just
I read?
What
You just reminded me of?
What's that, baby?
One of the testimonials. If you got to the testimonials in the back, it's short. I'll read.
Oh, we love you too, Frenchie. We love and we love people. So you already know.
In the book. Actually, no, it's not in the testimonials. It's in one of the sections.
Oh, it's in
you
the
know
sections,
what I'm looking
yes.
for?
Who?
The
What?
couple that got married out of.
Oh, yes. We love doing this, guys, man. I mean, it's just something that we, kind of envisioned with the Love Byrds story when it was unfolding.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
This is precious.
Mm.
Oh, okay. This is a testimonial. It's on page 143 from Carmen Ford. She's Carmen Ford Scurry now. She's married now. As I attended the amazing celebration of your union. Okay, we got a call the next day from somebody who was at our wedding that we didn't invite. They were a +1. And then she wrote us this letter afterwards. We didn't even know who she was, right? As I attended the amazing celebration of your union on Sunday, my heart was with hope, with joy, and immeasurable amount of love. I prayed for God to reveal himself to me regarding my situation. Upon entering on Sunday, I was pleasantly greeted into the night. Her name was called repeatedly. And when it was called, I would turn also because her name was Carmen too. Later, to my surprise, I was assigned a seat at the same table with her. Shortly after being seated, she stated, "You have such a peaceful spirit, I can feel it." And I replied, "Hey, that's because we share the same name." I really wanted to share my testimony with her, but I didn't. Inside, I knew I should share it with the newly wedded couple who poured so much into my spirit within minutes of their wedding ceremony. During the ceremony, I heard a sound as if someone lit a match. The bride's beautiful smile remains with me even while I'm sharing this. I must also share the fact that I never met the bride or the groom prior to attending their wedding. I accompanied my fraternity sister. But during the reception, the welcome was read by another amazing stranger, Franny. She read the mission statement that was written from the hearts of the newly wedded couple. Their mission of their marriage is to inspire, encourage, and ignite to the true meaning of love. Wow. At that point, my purpose for attending a stranger's wedding was finally understood. And yes, and yes, and yes, those words spoke life, my relationship again. So I send to William and the lovely Darlene my heartfelt thank you again for showing me and us what love looks like. And I put a note, Carmen and Jerome were married 1 year later, almost to the day of our wedding, and Darlene and William were proudly in attendance.
Did you hear that? She spoke to all three of the missions.
Our marriage mission.
She heard that match, which was Ignite.
Mm-hmm.
She was inspired. She went back home and patched up years. She
had been holding a grudge and a little hard heart. She let it go.
Yep, she let it go.
She let it go with that match strike. And she put their relationship back together.
And
1 year later, it was either the day before or day after our anniversary, but it's 1 year later. They had a wedding. And we showed up. We didn't know anybody because we didn't hardly even know her. And she said, when we stood up, she said, "Hey, guys, those are the Love Byrds. We got like a
standing ovation. That was crazy. I know that was so weird, but it was so
apparently our story became a part of their love story. And our mission came in that couple. And I just love seeing them today. They're so happy. They're enjoying each other. They're making the most of every single day and of each other. It's a beautiful story.
Want your own, Frenchie.
Yeah, awesome. We don't want your relationship, but this training will get us to our own.
I know we're strange. We're strange animals. God put us together. This was by divine appointment. So we understand that, this level of, love and what we have
the vision for it,
is, but yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't, they won't. I mean, I can't say they won't achieve this or they haven't already achieved it.
Yeah, they may.
But
It's
the
possible.
idea is the hope.
The hope.
That the hope is possible, that you have, you have what's inside of you to attain this. This is not like something that's not attainable. It could be done just by, and take me who, was way on the other side.
Lay down selfishness. Lay down things that are self-serving. Lay down stuff that's not good for the relationship.
Big part of the story. If I can do it, I know anybody can do it. Change. If I can do it, oh my goodness, it should be like real light and easy for a lot of people. Some of us go through lives, and it's success is easy. Success in a relationship is easy. Some of us have a losing record though. You know what I mean? So if I can go from a losing record to a champion.
I would have missed my blessing.
How you doing, Joe?
I would have missed my blessing.
So, yes.
But he changed because he wanted to, because he respected me enough to, and because it would have cost him too much not to change.
Exactly.
So change is possible. And so, and change for the greater good is a good thing. Change for a healthy marriage, a healthy relationship. And it's not too late to change if you want to change. If you understand your yes. I think we talked about one of our sessions about, once you understand your yes, you start to say no to the things that get in the way of that yes, because the yes is the most important thing. Yeah. Yes. So we're the Love Byrds.
We're the Love Byrds. Thank you guys once again, man. We hope we share some good stuff with you guys, man. Look forward to seeing us again next week, 8:30 on Feel Good Talk. Yeah. We want to thank Naeem for doing the day thing. Our executive producer in the background. Thank you, Naeem. You did a fantastic job. I want to thank you guys for joining us again. Stand on this journey with us so we can all become better versions of ourselves and our relationships and in our life. And we're the Love Byrds, Darlene and William.
We love people
and we love love. See y'all next week.
Have a good night, y'all.